Hey, what's up guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be taking a cubic deck profile. Now this deck is actually really interesting because it doesn't really need an extra deck, and it's pretty cheap actually for a deck. And it OTKs really well. I am a really big fan of this deck because it was in the Yu-Gi-Oh movie Dark-Sided Dimensions when it actually came out, when I think it was Diva was the character's name that actually played this deck, and it was really cool. I love this deck. It's just a lot of fun. And shout outs to Mega Capital G. I know you guys, he's probably not going to see this video, but shout outs to him, because after that cubic shit, I'm not surprised. So let's get straight on this. I comment that on his videos all the time. Every time he posts a YouTube video, I comment that. So let's get into this and see what I'm playing. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Crimson Nova, the Dark Cubic Lord. Now basically this card is the OTK maker of the entire deck, and it cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned by revealing 3 other cubic cards in your hand, and then you can special summon it, and it's unaffected by monster effects whose original attack is 3,000 or less. And when this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, this card can attack again during that battle phase. And during the end phase, both players take 3,000 damage from this card. So you can actually very easily accidentally kill yourself with this card. It can OTK yourself. Like, if you're really low on life, you can in your turn and not realize that effect's there, and your opponent can be like, hey, effect, and then you lose. So that's not fun. So you have to be very careful of that and not to OTK yourself. So then we play 3 copies of Duza, the Meteor Cubic Vessel. I know I had to turn it to see the name up there, so there you go, if you guys want to see it. They do actually come with ultra rare ones of these, and I'm thinking about getting ultra rare ones of these, because the rest of the deck, some of the cards are gold, some of the cards are not gold, and I kind of want to do just straight ultras. If this card is normal summoned or special summoned, you can send a cubic card from your deck to the graveyard, and then once per turn, during either player's turn, if a monster was sent from the sent to the graveyard this turn, this face-up card, you can make this card gain 200 attack for each monster in your graveyard with a different name until the end phase of the turn. So it can get pretty big on normal summon, and I really like that effect of it. The next ones, we don't really go into their effects all that much because we don't summon them all that much. But we're going to be playing 1 copy of Buster Gunneal, the Cubic Behemoth. Basically, these are just here for names. The effect of Buster Gunneal is the only one that I'm going to go into because he's the one that we summon the most. When he is normal summoned, you can activate, there's a card in this deck that actually lets you special summon him and gains his effects as well. But he cannot be normal summoned or set. He must be special summoned from your hand by sending 3 cubic monsters you control to the graveyard, and he cannot be special summoned by other ways. If this card is summoned this way, it becomes 3,000 attack. And this card can make a 2nd and 3rd attack during each battle phase. And if this card in your possession is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you can target 3 cubic monsters in your graveyard and special summon them. Then you can add a cubic card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Buster Gunneal is probably the best summon besides all the other cubic monsters and Crimson Nova. Really good card, and there's cards that I summon him out with. The rest of them are just here for names. So we play Endora Doom Volt, the Cubic Emperor. I have never actually summoned him in this deck, but he's here for the name reason. We play Blade Garuda, the Cubic Beast. Again, kind of there for the name. This one you have to send 2. This one you have to send 3. This becomes 2,400 attack. This one becomes 2,000 attack. Then we play Vulcan Dragny, the Cubic King. He becomes, he becomes 1,600. I can't remember all their attacks. And he is basically, when he's summoned, he inflicts 800 points. When he's summoned, I believe he inflicts 1,600. No, he inflicts, special by card effect. He does it for other reasons, but I never really summon him, so I don't keep up with his effect. These 2 I keep up with, kind of. And then Dark Garnix, the Cubic Beast, is the one that I summon out besides Buster Gunneal. And he just requires you to send 1 cubic card you control, or 1 cubic monster you control, and he comes out at 1,000. And then when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 2 Vjam Cubic Seeds in your graveyard, and then send this card to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon them. And then you can add Blade Garuda, so he upgrades into Blade Garuda. But I never climb that ladder because it's, like, really weird, so we don't do that. Then we play the Cubic King, the other Cubic King, and that is basically you send a cubic card you control or cubic monster you control to the grave, and if this card is summoned this way, it gains 800 attack. and then it inflicts 800 life points to your opponent. So it's a burn card. That's pretty much the only reason it's here, and the names. You play them for the names so you can summon Crimson Nova, because Crimson Nova is the big card you're going to summon, and it's very searchable in this deck, so that's why we play it. Then we play 3 copies of Yugioh, the Cubic Seed. This card is really good because it cannot be destroyed by battle, and at the end of the damage step, if this card battled an opponent's monster, you can play this card in your spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell, and if you do, place a cubic counter on the opponent's monster. Monsters with cubic counters cannot attack and their effects are negated. So it's really good. So if like your opponent attacks it with like Boral Sword or something like that, you can just negate its effect, which is good. And if this card is treated as a continuous spell and trap, during your main phase, you can spell summon this card to a spell and trap card, or to your side of the field. So it's kind of like a Crystal Beast in a way. Then we play 3 copies of Summoner Monk because we need to summon Yugioh. Basically, the ones that you're summoning is like Summoner Monk, Yugioh, Duza, and Crimson Nova. The rest of these are here for names, for the main point. So you can summon out your Crimson Nova. But Summoner Monk is here because you want to discard a card like Cubic Karma to summon out your Duza. So that's the big thing, it's there. But that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells and traps. And we only play like 3 traps, I think. So we'll go through this pretty quick. So Reasoning is here because you can only really summon off Summoner Monk and Duza. So the rest of them just end up going to the grave and they speeds through your deck really fast. 2 copies of Forbidden Chalice. Chalice protects or negates the effect of a monster on the field, and that's the reason I play it. And then I play 2 copies of Forbidden Lance because it can protect our Crimson Nova from being destroyed by card effects and stuff like that. It makes him immune to spells and traps. 2 copies of Twin Twister because I want to OTK my opponent really quickly. 1 copy of Contract with Don 1000. Interesting thing that when this card is activated, both players lose 1,000 life points, then they draw a card, and then you reveal the hand, which is really cool. And then as long as they have a spell card in their hand, they cannot normal summon or set, but I don't really normal summon or set in this deck. I just special summon, so I don't really care. So it kind of just hinders my opponent. Then I play 3 copies of Cubic Wave. This is the OTK maker along with Crimson Nova. It lets you target a cubic monster and a card your opponent controls. It doubles your cubic monster's attack and halves the attack of your opponent's monster. Literally, all you have to do is summon this and activate Cubic Wave and attack twice and you win. Like, that's the main point of your cubic deck, is it does that. You can banish this card from your graveyard, and then in any number of cubic monsters in your graveyard, then target face a monster your opponent controls and put cubic counters on them, and then they can't attack and their effects are negated. So that's pretty much it for that. Then we play 3 copies of Cubic Karma. Cubic Karma is basically when it's activated, you don't usually use its on-field effect all that much, but when it's activated, you can target 1 cubic monster you control, send Yugioh Cubic Seeds from your deck to the grave, equal to the number that you have in your deck from your hand or deck, and then that monster gains 800 attack for each one, even if this card leaves the field. And during your opponent's turn, if Yugioh is special summoned by this effect of a cubic monster, send this card to the graveyard, and if you do, half your opponent's life points. That is crazy good. That is really good. And then if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish it to add a cubic monster from your deck to your hand. That's the big effect that you're usually going to be using, is you're going to send this to the grave off of Duza to banish it and then search Crimson Nova. Like, that's the 3-card combo that you're going to do in this deck. And then you're also going to play 3 copies of Foolish Burial Goods. And this is not hard once per turn, so you can do that as many times as you want. So that's what you do. So Foolish Burial Goods is here to send Cubic Karma to grave. And then I play 2 copies of Reoccurring Nightmare, because Reoccurring Nightmare, since our Crimson Nova is 0 defense, you can add 2 of them back from the graveyard to your hand. And you can also add from your graveyard to your hand, if he is present there, your Yugiohs, because your Yugiohs have 0/0 as well. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps, and I'll show you those really quickly, because there's only 3. We play 3 copies of Unification of the Cubic Lords. Basically, this is the fusion trap, I guess, but you don't use it for that. This deck is really wonky. Like, it does stuff and it doesn't do stuff. Like, it does, the main effect of the card is not really what you use it for. It's the banish effects that you use them for sometimes. So you can fusion summon 1 cubic monster from your extra deck using materials that are face up on your field. And then also, if a face-up cubic monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field for any reason, you can banish this card from your graveyard and then special summon a level 4 or lower cubic monster from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, but if you do, it cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. That is the card that I'm talking about that you summon Buster Gunniel off of, because Buster Gunniel gains his effects and stuff off of being summoned off of this. So, like, that's the only time I ever summon Buster Gunniel is off of, like, if Duza leaves the field, I summon it off of this. And then he gains a 3k and he can attack twice, and he's just big and for no reason. Like, he's just huge for no reason. So, it literally took a god card to kill it. So, that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. Like I said, you really don't need the extra deck, but I'm going to show it to you anyways. So we got a Crimson Nova, the Cubic Lord. Basically, this card is like, you summon it, you win. Essentially. We play a Borreload because we can. Nightmare Unicorn because we might need to bounce stuff. Underclock Taker because you might, again, need to reduce your opponent's attack points even more. Phoenix and Cerberus to pop stuff. Usually I go into Phoenix if I'm going to go into anything to pop back row. I'm not too worried about monsters because Crimson Nova is going to bust over anything anyways. Link Rebo, because I can use it. This is one card that I actually do go into. Like, if I normal summon Vjom, I can link it away to summon Link Rebo. And then, like, that's the only time I ever go into my extra deck, really. And then I play the Spider Engine, I call it. And that is one copy of 35 Ravenous Tarantula, one copy of 84 Pain Gainer, and one copy of 77 Seven Sins. Basically, what you do is you overlay 2 Crimson Novas so you don't OTK yourself or burn yourself for 3k if you have less than 3,000. You summon this, and then you overlay into this, and then you overlay into this, because it's just like Utobi the Lightning going up into it. Then I play number 81, Super Dreadnought Cannon Super Dora. And then I play one copy of Gustav Max in case I just want to inflict points to my opponent. And then I play one Baguska as a plan B just in case I need it if I have 2 Duzas, or I summon Summoner Monk and Duza, and then I make this until I can get my Crimson Nova on the field and then swing at my opponent with it. It's a good stall card. One Castel to bounce stuff just in case I need to, and an Exciton Knight just to blow the board so I can go at him with Crimson Nova. So that's it, guys, for the deck. I really hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, you really don't need the extra deck all that much. The only thing the extra deck does is you make one of your rank 10s to save yourself from Crimson Nova. That's the only time I really go into it, or for Link Rebo. That's the only time I summon it. Anything out of there. I sometimes summon Crimson Nova if I get all 3 of my Novas on field. But that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell down there so you can become a part of the notification squad, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And if you do comment down below, I will give you a heart. So, see you around, guys.